We are all driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't actually to search at all. So don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find a quality candidate fast. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/manifest. Just go to Indeed.com/manifest right now and support our show by saying that you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/manifest. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Manifest with Tori DeSimone. I'm your host, Tori DeSimone, and today is Manifest Book Club episode number 4. Ow, ow! You guys, we're really doing it. We're already on our 4th month of bonus episodes and our 4th book club episode. This was like our first self-helpy book. What did we think of it? We have so much to talk about today, and I'm excited to dive into it and talk about it. So, first of all, happy Thursday. I hope you guys are having an amazing Thursday so far, and I hope January has been good to you. We are rounding out the month. We have about 1 week left of January, which is crazy. The year is flying by, and I hope you guys had a great first month of 2024. Okay, let's dive into this book. So this month for the Manifest Book Club, we read The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. So I picked this book during the week between Christmas and New Year's. And I think I picked it because I kept seeing it coming up on TikTok, and it just felt like a really good book to read going into the new year when it came to resolution setting, what I wanted to do in 2024, all these sorts of things. And I will say 2024 so far it's been great. Like, it's come out the gate strong. I have a new project in the works that I'm really excited to share very soon. I actually have 2 projects in the works. One will be a direct impact for you guys, which will be really amazing. And the second is like something else that I will announce soon that I'm really excited for. But it's been a really, really great year so far. And I'm glad that I picked this book because it's been really transformative with work and things, but also it hasn't been because a lot of the practices in this book we've actually already been doing and we talk a lot about on the show. And it made me think, like, I want to write a book one day. I've always said that, but I just know that, like, one day I'm going to. I just don't know exactly what on yet. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, I picked this in between Christmas and New Year's, and it felt like a really good book to pick at the time, and I'm glad that I did pick it. I listened to this book on Spotify audiobooks, and I love that. Like, I love that audiobooks are included in the premium subscription. It's been really awesome. If you don't have Spotify Premium, I recommend it honestly now more than ever because you do get, I think, 12 hours of audiobooks a month included, which is about 2 audiobooks. So that's pretty good. Highly recommend it. So this book was really awesome, but it was also really triggering. And let's kind of like talk about that first. So what I mean, this book brought me right back to 2018, 2019 hustle culture, which honestly is something that I try my best not to slip into because I just find that it throws my entire life out of alignment and out of balance. And I just feel stressed and I feel inflamed and I just feel not in a good place. And I think that the more I reflect on that time of my life when I was in the hustle culture era, which was all documented online, may I add, it's all on my YouTube channel. It's all on this podcast. I mean, if you really want to hear it, go to the first episode ever of this podcast and you can hear me talk about it. I relate it more to like the body image of things, but that really relates directly back to the hustle culture and trying to just do it all. when I think about that time of my life, like 2018, 2019, beginning of 2020, I was really in fight or flight for like those 2.5, 3 years of my life. And I didn't even know it. And looking back, like, I just want to give myself a hug. I really do. It was like me at 19, 20, 21. I was living on my own in my condo. I was opening businesses. That's when I was opening up my Stride studios. And I was just feeling like I had so much to prove. I had to prove myself to anyone that would look at me. I had to prove myself to myself that I could do it. I had to prove myself to everyone. Put pressure on that. I put all that pressure on myself. No one actually needed me to prove myself to them. That's just crazy. I was completely financially supporting myself. I had 50 plus employees at the time that my business needed to support. And I felt, obviously a huge obligation to that because, hello, it's my business. I was running a brick and mortar fitness studio, still am. I was waking up at 4:30, 4 a.m., 3:45 in the morning. I was lifting heavy in the gym. I was going through breakups. I was dating. I was like trying to learn about myself. I was trying to please everyone around me. I was trying to be happy all the time. And I was really just like running myself into the ground, dude. And I was lonely. And I was just working all the time because it was all that I had. It was the end all be all. It was the answer. And now I'm in a place of my life of just balance and abundance and love and passion. I'm in a place of understanding, of navigating, of learning. And I'm doing it all with compassion and with empathy and with grace for myself. So, yes, this book brought back some old memories and some old emotions, and it definitely triggered like old ways of thinking. But I was able to recognize that and shut it down and like compartmentalize that. So if you take the hustle culture mentality away from this book, I do think it actually leaves us with some really great tips, and a lot of which we actually have already talked about on the show and have been doing for years, which actually is in the Manifest Planner. Which is crazy because I've never read this book before. And when I was reading it, I was like, wait. This is the Manifest Planner. So that was cool. I also found a really great Reddit thread that summarizes the book, and it actually also comes with a free Notion template if you wanted to implement this exact way of planning and executing your goals. So I'll leave that in the show notes below if you guys want to check that out. But let's break this down. Let's start. So this book essentially discusses how you can plan your year annually, which is what most of us do, or how you can shorten your year into quarters and look at your year as 12 weeks long. So Q1 is an entire year. Q2, year. Q3, it's a year. Q4, year. You get it. And then in 2025, it all just begins again. I can't believe 2025 is next year. That feels like it was so far in the future, but it's literally next year. That's crazy. So the difference with shortening your year is that it demands like a bit more urgency to accomplish your goals and to accomplish your tasks. If in January you set a lofty goal to make $150,000 in 2024, when March rolls around and you're not really near that goal, you just assume that you have a lot more time. Or when July hits, you just begin to look back on your goal and just say, oh yeah, like remember that. And then October comes along and it's so long away since January and you're like, what, like fuck that goal. Like I don't, like my life is so different now. Like that's, it's not my goal. But if your goal is to make $150,000 in Q1, it suddenly makes every week count, right? You only have 12 weeks to accomplish that goal. So 150 grand in 12 weeks becomes $12,500 a week, which is $1,000, $758 a day. And then you can achieve that by doing X, Y, and Z, etc. So it just shortens the goal and it puts urgency on it to accomplish it. Then your goal of make $150,000 in 2024 actually becomes make $150,000 by March 31st, which means that you have the same goal every quarter, you would actually make $600,000 in 2024. So you just like exponentially increased your goal by increasing the goal's lifespan, but not the goal itself. So it just really makes you have an urgent tone to your goals. And I do like this line of thinking. Like, it makes sense in my brain and I do really understand it. I just don't love the underlying message of do more, do more, do more. It's kind of like that whole Kim Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian fight when Kim did the Dolce show and Kourtney was like, why did you have to take this gig? Like, it caused a rift in our family. We're fighting about it. Like, why was this gig so important to you? Like, when is it ever going to be enough for you? When are you ever going to turn down the money? Like, when are you going to be satisfied? And then we just see Kim, who's always constantly wanting more and more and more money, more gigs, more opportunities. And now she's like getting into acting. It's like, when is it ever going to be enough for you? When you run yourself into the ground? For what? Like, to who? Like, who are you trying to prove this to and why? Why do you feel the need to prove yourself to others, or is it to yourself? Like, whose validation are you actually seeking when you're just constantly looking for more and more and more? It gets kind of deep. So like, yes, I like the line of thinking of this book, but I don't subscribe to the underlying message of do more, take more, it's never going to be enough. We are all driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't actually to search at all. So don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find a quality candidate fast. So ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. I love Indeed. I've used it to hire for Stride, for this podcast, for the Manifest Planner. What I really like is that I can put out exactly what I'm looking for, and Indeed will bring the quality candidates to me. I really don't have to do anything. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences so that the more you use Indeed, the better it actually gets. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/manifest. Just go to Indeed.com/manifest right now and support our show by saying that you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/manifest. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. I do love the message of continuing to forever grow and evolve and challenge yourself, but not at the expense of burnout or at the expense of selling out for a paycheck. So I just wanted to put that out there. So with that being said, here are the steps that they recommend for achieving your goals this year in just 12 weeks. Okay. I'm going to leave the link to the Reddit thread, by the way. Okay. The 12-week system is split into two phases, planning and action. The planning phase, which essentially you should do every 12 weeks, which we love. We talk about planning literally all the time on the show. You guys know that. So every 12 weeks, you're going to plan out your next 12 weeks, which is essentially your quarter. So January 1 to March 31st. Step one is to define your vision. And this is your why. Like, why do I want to make $150,000? That's just an example that I'm using. It's honestly a pretty bad example, but it's just one that I keep going to. Why do I want to make this money? Why do I want to, whatever the goal is? Like, what is your why? And having a really defined why is going to allow you to keep the motivation and really understand your goal. Step two is to define your timeline. Where in 1 year do you want to be with this goal? Where in 9 months do you want to be with this goal? Where in 6 months do you want to be with this goal? Where in 3 months do you want to be with this goal? And if this sounds familiar, it's because it is. This is exactly how the Manifest Planner is set up. So we've been known this, like we've been doing this, which is awesome. And then step three is to have your 12-week goals. So you set up a weekly strategy session with yourself to determine what goals it is that you're going to do this week that set you up for success. So I personally like to do this on Sunday nights, and I have been doing this every single Sunday night. I just posted a plan with me on TikTok. If you guys want to watch like what I did a few Sundays ago, I'll leave it down below. So I like to do this on Sunday nights. Determine your goal with your why, then work backwards. If you want to make $12,000 in 12 weeks, that means you need to make $1,000 every week, which is $142 every day. This means that every day I need to do X, Y, and Z to accomplish that goal. That's your plan. That's the planning part of it all. The second phase is the action phase. This is the phase that you do every week for the next 12 weeks until you accomplish your goal. So step 4 is to set up your weekly action plan. This is where you construct your to-dos for the week. I like to have a long to-do list. I call this my master to-do list. And I have this master to-do list compiled throughout days, weeks, years. Honestly, like it's just a running to-do list and I just keep adding things to it. And then on Sunday nights, according to the goals that I determined, I will pull my to-dos from my master to-do list to my weekly to-do list. And then I put the weekly to-do list on certain days to make sure that all my goals are getting done and that my to-dos are, working towards my goal. Step 5 is to execute. This is when you put your planning to the test. So this is where you rely on habits and routines to make this work because eventually motivation is going to wear away. Like it comes and goes in waves. So relying on the habitual routine of working towards your goals to make this happen is crucial here for the execution and the success of your goals. And then step 6 is to score your week and reflect. So the book recommends like on Fridays, I personally like to do it on Sundays. They recommend to calculate your execution score for the week and reflect on what worked and what didn't work. I personally didn't really tally up anything when it came to this execution score, but I do think that reflection is really smart and really important to do, which also we do talk about in the Manifest Planner. So like some journal prompts of like what worked this week, what didn't, why didn't it work, how can I fix that for next week, did I feel aligned with this, sort of questions like that to keep you moving forward in the direction of your 12-week plan. And then that's pretty much how it works. And then that process just repeats. So it's planning and it's executing and how to do so. Obviously, this was a very quick synopsis of the book, but overall, I really like this method and I think it is useful. It can definitely be applied to any goal, whether it be personal or professional, but I think it was a good book overall. I enjoyed it, but I just err on the side of caution when it comes to subscribing to like the hustle culture mentality of it all with this book. So give this book a try. Let me know what you guys think. If you have not read it, you can obviously order it. I'll have links to it down below where you can order it. You could also listen to it on audiobooks, but also the Manifest Planner really does do this. So this isn't new information, I will say, but it is worded in a very easy to understand and digestible way. I think like the secret for self-help books is to have one concept and to just say that one concept 1,000 different ways. Like honestly, this whole book could have been like a 10-minute podcast episode, which I'm kind of proving right now because this is like a 20-minute episode. So yeah, like this book really could have been a lot more short than what it is. But I'm kind of learning that like self-help books are really just like a long thesis with a lot of like persuasive essay points. It's kind of crazy. So give this book a try. I do recommend it. I err on the side of caution when it comes to the hustle culture message of this book, but I think it's a good routine and a good system for accomplishing your goals. Next month's book. The next book for the Manifest Book Club, which that episode, let me tell you, is going to come out on Thursday, February 29th, which we won't get very common. The next book is The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. I'm so excited to read this book. This book is also included on Spotify Premium in the audiobooks if you want to listen to it on there. I'll also have a link to it down below. I've recently just fallen in love with Rick Rubin. I listen to all of his podcasts. I have gone on like a Rick Rubin rabbit hole. I really, really like him and I like his creative process and I'm really excited to dive deep into this book and to learn more about him and his creative process and his creative thinking. So I'm very excited for this book. So again, the next book for the Manifest Book Club is The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. And that episode comes out Thursday, February 29th, 2024. So guys, that is going to be it for today's bonus episode of Manifest with Tori DeSimone. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Definitely comment what you guys thought about this book on the YouTube channel. I'll leave it linked down below as always. Thank you guys so much for listening. Happy, bonus episode Thursday. It's not Manifest Monday, but have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you guys all on Monday. Bye, guys.